Hi. Ready? Hi, everyone. So this weekend, something really embarrassing happened to me. It's one of those things that is 100% embarrassing. There's no question about it. It's one of those things that is a typical embarrassing thing, and you do not want it to happen to you no matter where you are, let alone where I was. And I want to tell you about it because I handled it in a way that I think, I don't know, a lot of people were saying that they were really impressed with how I handled it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the stuff I talk about in my book, How to Crush Self-Doubt. The fact that it was embarrassing didn't matter as much to me as it used to. You know, if this had happened to me a number of years ago, I would have been like horrified. And instead, I was like, oh well. So, here's what happened, okay? I was at an event that Daniel was having. It was yeah, you think it's hilarious. It was the grand opening of Jenna's house in Johnson, Vermont, if you want to look that up. And there were media crews everywhere with cameras. Everyone was taking pictures of things. We had Bernie Sanders there. We had Peter Welch there. We had a bunch of representatives. We had a bunch of, very successful business people and organizations and nonprofits and everything. And like I said, people had cameras and photos and videos everywhere. And my dress, which I'd never worn before, as I was chasing after this toddler over here and bending down and squatting and kneeling and doing all these different things to keep him entertained from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., my dress split right down the back. Right from like my tailbone down to like middle of butt. So, and I realized this myself, okay? No one like told me. And I have no idea how long it had been like that. And I realized it about 30 seconds before the camera crew came into the room that we were in. Thankfully, it wasn't 30 seconds afterwards. That would have been worse. And like I said, I realized it myself. I have no idea how long it was like that. Thankfully, I turned to Daniel and I was like, I have a split down my dress. And he was like, what? Oh, that's bad. It's like, your butt is on display right now. And so I was like, okay, well, so I had a sweater type thing that was kind of on the top part. And so I peeled that off and I tied it around my waist to cover myself up in the back, which is really, I'm grateful that was a possibility. And, the camera crew came in and I just had this random sweater wrapped around my waist that didn't really go with my dress. And we got through it fine. And that's how I was the rest of the day. But, the people who were there that had been a part of seeing what had happened and being around it, or the people that I told afterwards, were like, wow, you handled this so well. I would have been horrified. Yeah. And like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with, not to be cliche, but crushing my self-doubt and not really caring as much. And really just owning who I am. And I think this is something that we should do more often. Ready? Okay, ready? We do what I did, which is skip right over the being mortified part of being embarrassed. Because when you're embarrassed, it's like a really strong emotion. And it's almost like a guilt, right? It's just like super strong guilt. Anyway, skip right over that part. Go straight to the part where it's a funny story afterwards. Like a year down the road, you're like, oh my God, guess what happened to me one time? Yeah, skip right to that part. That's what I did. So other people that I saw throughout the day, I was like, they're like, oh, I like your dress or whatever. I was like, yeah, me too, except for the back where it split right down my butt. So it's I skipped right to that funny story part. And it was great. I've never done that before. I've never felt comfortable enough to do that before, and I haven't had a super embarrassing moment for a little while because I haven't been in public for a while. COVID. But But it worked. It worked super well. And it made people laugh, and I laughed, and I felt more comfortable, and I just rolled with it. And it was totally fine. Being embarrassed is totally fine. Things are going to happen that are out of your control all the time. And it's fine. People probably won't even remember what happened because of the way that I just sort of brushed it off. So do that. See how it goes. Just brush it off. Move straight past to the point where it's just a funny story.